The 1960s are often remembered as a golden age of American automotive design, with muscle cars, luxury cruisers, and innovative technologies. However, for low-income buyers, the reality was much bleaker. The cheapest models often came with compromised designs, weak engines, and poor build quality. Here's a look at 10 disappointing cars from the 1960s that only the poor could afford.
Dear viewer, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support.
Number 10. 1960 Ford Falcon. The 1960 Ford Falcon was introduced as Ford's answer to the growing demand for economical, compact cars in post-war America. Designed to appeal to budget-conscious families, the Falcon's base model prioritized simplicity and low cost over innovation and excitement. While it achieved initial sales success due to its affordability, the car's uninspired performance, bland styling, and lack of modern features quickly left it feeling obsolete. The Falcon was marketed as a practical, no-frills car that was easy to drive and inexpensive to own, making it attractive to first-time buyers and families on a tight budget. The base model came with a 144 cubic inch inline-six engine, a basic interior, and very few optional extras. While it met the basic requirements for transportation, it left much to be desired in terms of innovation or driving enjoyment. The 144 cubic inch, 2.4-liter, inline-six engine produced a modest 85 horsepower, which struggled to deliver adequate performance. Acceleration was sluggish, especially when carrying passengers or cargo, and the car was ill-suited for highway speeds. While the small engine was economical, it lacked the power and refinement found in some of its competitors. For drivers looking for more than just basic transportation, the engine felt underwhelming and uninspired. The Falcon's exterior design was intentionally simple and understated, but this approach left it looking plain and unexciting. While competitors like the Chevrolet Corvair and the Plymouth Valiant embraced bolder designs, the Falcon stuck to a more conventional appearance. The inside of the base model was equally uninspiring, featuring a utilitarian dashboard, vinyl bench seats, and limited instrumentation. While functional, the interior lacked any sense of style or innovation. The base model of the Falcon omitted many features that were becoming increasingly common, even in budget cars. Power steering, power brakes, and even a radio were optional extras rather than standard equipment. By the mid-1960s, the Falcon's lack of amenities and its outdated design made it feel like a relic compared to newer, more feature-rich, compact cars. Buyers began gravitating toward models that offered more comfort and convenience. The rise of sportier, more versatile compact cars like the Ford Mustang, built on a Falcon platform, further highlighted the Falcon's shortcomings. The base model became a symbol of frugality but lacked the charisma to remain competitive. While the Falcon's low price was initially a selling point, its uninspiring performance and lack of features meant it was often viewed as a car people settled for, rather than aspired to own. The 1960 Ford Falcon base model was a car built for practicality and affordability, but its weak engine, bland styling, and minimal features left it feeling uninspired and outdated even in its own era. While it served its purpose as a basic transportation option, it lacked the innovation and charm needed to stand out in a rapidly evolving market. For those on a tight budget, the Falcon may have been a sensible choice, but it rarely left owners feeling satisfied or impressed. Number 9. 1961 Plymouth Valiant. The 1961 Plymouth Valiant was Chrysler's entry into the burgeoning compact car market, positioned to compete against rivals like the Ford Falcon and Chevrolet Corvair. While its slant-six engine earned a reputation for durability, the Valiant's awkward styling and underwhelming performance alienated many potential buyers. Designed with practicality in mind, the car fell short in delivering the refinement or appeal many drivers expected, leaving it stuck with a polarizing reputation. The Valiant was aimed at budget-conscious consumers who wanted a compact car with good fuel efficiency and dependable performance. The 1961 Valiant featured exaggerated curves, an unusual grille, and a swept-back roofline. Chrysler intended the bold design to differentiate it from competitors, but it often ended up being a point of criticism rather than admiration. The Valiant came equipped with a 170 cubic inch, 2.8-liter slant-six engine, producing 101 horsepower. While dependable, the engine struggled to provide adequate acceleration, especially when paired with the optional 3-speed automatic transmission. The Slant 6 was known for its ruggedness and longevity, but its modest output made the car feel sluggish. Drivers frequently found the performance uninspiring, particularly in city driving or when carrying passengers. The front grille, often likened to a toilet seat due to its oval shape, was one of the most ridiculed features of the Valiant. Combined with bulbous fenders and an oddly proportioned body, the car's look was unconventional at best, unappealing at worst. While some appreciated its distinctive appearance, most critics and buyers found the design unattractive. It lacked the clean lines of the Ford Falcon or the futuristic vibe of the Chevrolet Corvair, leaving it an oddball in the market. The Valiant's ride was often criticized for being too firm, leading to discomfort on anything but smooth roads. Passengers frequently complained of jolts and vibrations during longer trips. The car's steering and handling lacked precision, making it feel clunky and outdated even by early 1960s standards. The Valiant's odd design and mediocre performance limited its appeal, especially when compared to competitors offering better styling or a smoother ride. Although later Valiant models corrected many of the 1961 version's flaws, the initial missteps stuck in buyers' minds, tarnishing the car's reputation. The 1961 Plymouth Valiant had its merits, particularly the reliable Slant 6 engine, but its awkward design, lackluster performance, and rough ride quality prevented it from achieving widespread acclaim. While it served as an affordable option for practical transportation, the Valiant struggled to capture the hearts of buyers, ultimately becoming more of a quirky footnote in Chrysler's history than a standout success. Number 8, 1962 Chevrolet Corvair. The 1962 Chevrolet Corvair was designed to challenge European-style compact cars with its innovative rear-engine layout and sleek design. While Chevrolet succeeded in creating a vehicle that stood out in terms of engineering, the base-trim Corvair faced serious criticism for its safety flaws and handling issues. Though it had its admirers, these shortcomings would eventually overshadow its appeal, making it a divisive choice in the American car market. Chevrolet broke away from convention by mounting the engine in the rear, which allowed for a flat floor and improved passenger space. The Corvair was marketed as an affordable compact car with a modern European-inspired design aimed at younger buyers and small families. The base Corvair was powered by a 145 cubic inch, 2.4-liter flat-six engine. Producing 80 horsepower engine was compact and efficient. It lacked the power to make the Corvair competitive in terms of acceleration, particularly when fully loaded. The air-cooled design, though innovative, struggled in hotter climates, leading to frequent overheating complaints. With a rear engine layout, much of the vehicle's weight was over the rear axle, leading to a tendency for oversteer. This made the car difficult to control in sharp turns or on slippery roads. The base model came with a simplified swing axle suspension, which contributed to unpredictable handling and poor stability at high speeds. Chevrolet did not include an anti-sway bar as standard, leaving the car prone to dangerous fishtailing. The Corvair was fitted with narrow low-pressure tires that were supposed to mitigate handling issues, but often made the car feel unstable instead. Ralph Nader's book, Unsafe at Any Speed, 1965, highlighted the Corvair's design flaws, particularly in early models like the 1962 base trim. His critique of its handling deficiencies and safety risks became a major factor in the car's tarnished legacy. The Corvair's sleek European-inspired aesthetics were ahead of their time, earning it fans who appreciated its unique look. However, its safety concerns, combined with a lackluster base engine, alienated many buyers, especially those seeking a reliable family car. The 1962 Chevrolet Corvair base trim was a bold attempt to bring innovation to the American compact car market. While its rear engine layout and modern styling garnered initial praise, the handling issues, safety concerns, and underpowered engine plagued its reputation. Though it holds a place in automotive history as a groundbreaking design, the base trim Corvair ultimately became a cautionary tale of how ambitious engineering can backfire when cost-cutting compromises safety and performance. Number 7, 1964, AMC Rambler American. The 1964 AMC Rambler American was designed as an affordable compact car for budget-conscious buyers. As the automotive industry leaned into mid-century modernism and performance, the Rambler American stayed firmly in the realm of practicality. While it had a loyal fan base among economical drivers, the base model's uninspiring performance, bare-bones interior, and dated design made it a lackluster competitor in a market increasingly dominated by more stylish and exciting cars. The Rambler American's design was unremarkable, with boxy utilitarian lines that prioritized function over form. While this appealed to some, it lacked the flair of competitors like the Ford Falcon or Chevrolet Corvair. Measuring just over 180 inches in length, the Rambler was practical for city driving and parking, which was a strong selling point for urban buyers. To keep costs down, the base model was stripped of most decorative elements, making it appear even more austere. A limited palette of flat, subdued colors added to the perception of blandness. The base Rambler American came with a 190.6 cubic inch, 3.2-liter inline-six engine, producing a modest 90 horsepower. With a 0 to 60 miles per hour time that exceeded 15 seconds, the engine struggled to keep pace with traffic, particularly on highways. While efficient for the era, its focus on fuel economy over performance made it feel sluggish, especially compared to the emerging muscle car trend. The engine was generally reliable for basic commuting, but frequent valve adjustments and tune-ups were necessary. The engine was known for its wheezy sound, which only reinforced its image as an economy car. The suspension absorbed bumps well on smooth city streets, but felt loose and imprecise on rougher roads or at higher speeds. Equipped with basic drum brakes, stopping distances were longer than those of competitors, especially in wet conditions. The lack of power-assisted steering made parking a chore. Despite the car's small size, the base model interior was stark, with vinyl bench seats, a basic dashboard, and little to no sound insulation. Buyers got a radio as an optional extra, but features like a cigarette lighter or armrests were often omitted. Minimal padding and a cramped back seat meant comfort was sacrificed for affordability. At a starting price of under $2,000, it was one of the cheapest new cars in 1964, making it attractive to families and first-time buyers. The car's lightweight and modest engine delivered respectable gas mileage, an appealing trait during a time of growing suburban commutes. While the car was practical, its lack of innovation made it feel out of touch with the evolving market. Models like the Ford Falcon and Chevrolet Chevy II offered more modern styling, better performance, and greater comfort, leaving the Rambler to compete primarily on price. The 1964 AMC Rambler American served its purpose as a reliable, no-frills economy car, but it failed to ignite excitement among drivers. Its practicality, low cost, and fuel efficiency made it a respectable choice for budget-conscious buyers. But its uninspired performance, dated design, and cheap interior cemented its reputation as a car you settle for, not one you aspire to own. While its simplicity was a selling point in the short term, the Rambler American's lack of ambition left it overshadowed by more dynamic offerings in the compact car market. Number 6. 1965 Dodge Dart. The 1965 Dodge Dart was marketed as a low-cost compact car and aimed at budget-conscious buyers, particularly those who prioritized affordability over performance. However, despite its practical design, the base model Dart was a far cry from the exciting new models in the automotive market. Known for its sluggish performance and lackluster features, the Dart's base version was unremarkable, both in terms of driving experience and overall build quality. The 1965 Dart's exterior design was simple and angular, which was typical of the era, but lacked the charm or flair that other compacts like the Chevrolet Chevy II or Ford Falcon had to offer. The base model kept features to a minimum, with plain steel wheels, basic trim, and little chrome or decorative accents. The cabin featured cheap vinyl seating, a simple dashboard with rudimentary gauges, and minimal comfort features. The sparse interior, while functional, offered little luxury or style, making it feel very basic. Like many compact cars of the era, the Dart's interior was compact, with limited space for rear seat passengers and not much in the way of comfort features for long trips. The entry-level Dart lacked many of the options available in higher trims, including air conditioning, power windows, and upgraded upholstery. Buyers were left with very few options to personalize the car. The base model Dart was equipped with a 170 cubic inch, 2.8-liter inline-six engine, which produced just 101 horsepower. This made the car sluggish, especially when it came to acceleration and highway merging. With such a low-output engine, the Dart struggled to keep up with other cars in its class. The engine was inefficient, offering a dull and underwhelming driving experience. Most base Darts were equipped with a 3-speed manual transmission, which made shifting awkward for some drivers and only added to the car's sluggish performance. The Dart's suspension was basic and didn't offer much comfort, especially on rougher roads. This contributed to a choppy and uncomfortable ride. The build quality of the 1965 Dart was not exceptional. Like many entry-level cars, it used cheap materials that didn't hold up well over time. Early models of the Dart, especially in regions with wet climates, were prone to rusting. The body would deteriorate quickly, leaving owners with unexpected repair costs. The Dart's build quality, paired with its underwhelming engine, meant that it required regular attention. Owners often had to deal with issues like poor electrical connections, carburetor problems, and suspension wear. The Dart's entry-level pricing was one of its main selling points, and it successfully attracted buyers looking for an inexpensive vehicle. However, compared to its competitors, like the Ford Falcon, Chevrolet Chevy II, or Plymouth Valiant, the Dart lacked excitement. It offered little more than basic transportation, which made it less appealing to those who sought both affordability and a bit of fun. The 1965 Dart's primary appeal was its affordability. For those who needed basic, no-frills transportation, it served its purpose well. But beyond that, it didn't excite or inspire loyalty among its owners. As the automotive industry moved toward more powerful engines and stylish designs, the base model Dart fell behind. It struggled to compete in an increasingly competitive market, and by the mid-1960s, many buyers were looking for more than just a budget car. While some enthusiasts may appreciate its simplicity and straightforwardness, the base 1965 Dodge Dart is often remembered as a compromise, a car that didn't offer much in terms of thrills or quality, but delivered basic transportation for a low price. The 1965 Dodge Dart base model was a car built for people who prioritized budget over performance, but its lackluster engine, minimal features, and poor build quality made it a forgettable option in a competitive market. It was a practical car for those who just needed a cheap mode of transportation, but it never stood out as anything more than that. Number 5. 1967 Mercury Comet. The 1967 Mercury Comet was part of Mercury's compact car lineup, designed as a more stylish alternative to the Ford Falcon. However, the base model Comet struggled to live up to expectations, as it lacked both the performance and features of its competitors. Despite its compact size, the Comet felt somewhat uninspired and was often overshadowed by the Ford Falcon, which offered better value and performance for budget-conscious buyers. The exterior design of the 1967 Comet was plain and boxy, with no standout features to make it memorable. The base model had minimal chrome detailing and lacked the sleek lines that were becoming popular on other cars of the time. The Comet's base trim was rudimentary, offering few frills. The car's aesthetic was functional, but it didn't have the visual appeal or excitement that some other compact cars of the era had. Inside, the Comet featured a very basic layout, with vinyl seats and a plain dashboard. The interior quality was functional but cheap, with few luxury touches. Buyers didn't get any premium features in the base model, making it feel utilitarian and uninspiring. The base model lacked air conditioning, power steering, and other conveniences that were becoming more common in the mid-1960s. It was a no-frills experience, appealing to those who didn't mind sacrificing comfort for cost. The 1967 Comet base model was powered by a 200 cubic inch, 3.3-liter inline-six engine that produced just 120 horsepower. This was a significant drop in performance compared to some of its competitors in the compact market, like the Chevy Nova or Ford Falcon, which offered more powerful engines in their base models. The Comet's engine felt sluggish, and its performance was unimpressive for drivers looking for something more responsive. The engine was adequate for basic transportation, but offered little excitement or driving enjoyment. The base model Comet came with a 3-speed manual transmission, which contributed to a rougher driving experience. The car's handling was adequate but not particularly refined, with an underwhelming suspension that didn't provide much in terms of comfort or performance. The Comet's performance was simply lackluster. It couldn't compete with sportier models or higher trim levels of compact cars, which made it less appealing to a younger audience looking for a more exciting driving experience. Like many base models of the time, the 1967 Comet suffered from cheap interior materials that wore out quickly. The seats would become uncomfortable over time, and the vinyl would crack, leaving the interior feeling worn after just a few years of use. As with many cars from this era, rust was a significant problem. The Comet was no exception, with the body prone to corrosion, especially in areas with harsh climates. This added to the cost of ownership, as rust repair was often necessary. The 1967 Comet base model was affordable, but it came at the expense of features and performance. Mercury marketed it as a lower-cost alternative to its more premium models, but it lacked the refinement and quality buyers expected. The Ford Falcon, which shared a similar platform, offered more engine options, better handling, and superior value for money. The Falcon's higher trim levels also came with more modern features, making the Comet-based model feel dated and underpowered by comparison. While the 1967 Mercury Comet served as a basic and affordable option, it struggled to differentiate itself from the competition. It didn't have the engine options, handling, or features to make it stand out, and its plain design made it forgettable. In hindsight, the Comet-based model wasn't as memorable or exciting as other cars of the era. The lack of refinement, weak engine, and bland design led to it being overshadowed by its Ford Falcon counterpart and other compact rivals. While the Comet has a cult following among classic car enthusiasts, the base model is often overlooked due to its unremarkable nature. Many prefer the higher trims or more exciting competitors. The 1967 Mercury Comet base model was a car that lacked the refinement, features, and performance buyers expected from a compact car. It struggled to compete with its Ford Falcon counterpart, offering little beyond basic transportation. Its uninspiring design, weak engine, and minimal amenities made it a forgettable option in the compact car market, leaving it largely overshadowed by better-equipped and more exciting alternatives. Number 4. 1966 Chevrolet Biscayne. The 1966 Chevrolet Biscayne was one of Chevrolet's most affordable models, positioned as a basic full-size car for budget-conscious buyers. However, the base six-cylinder version of the Biscayne was cheap in more than just price. With minimal features, lackluster design, and underwhelming performance, the Biscayne failed to excite or inspire, even for those seeking a basic family car. The 1966 Biscayne had a very plain and utilitarian design with few distinguishing features. Its boxy, no-nonsense appearance reflected its role as a budget-friendly car, but it lacked the visual appeal of other full-size sedans, like the Chevrolet Impala or even the Chevy Bel Air, which were marketed at higher price points. The base model of the Biscayne came with very little in terms of chrome detailing or exterior flourishes. The car was designed to be functional rather than stylish, resulting in a lack of excitement for those hoping for something visually appealing. Inside, the Biscayne was just as basic as the exterior. The cabin featured simple, durable materials like vinyl seats and a plain dashboard. There were no luxury options or advanced features, just the essentials. The interior lacked the amenities that buyers of other full-size sedans might expect, such as plush seating, premium upholstery, or modern dashboard designs. It was all about keeping costs down, which meant comfort and aesthetics were sacrificed. The base Biscayne was equipped with a 250 cubic inch, 4.1-liter, inline-six engine that produced just 140 horsepower. This engine was fine for basic driving, but it lacked the power that many buyers sought in a full-size sedan. Compared to the V8 options available in higher trims of the Biscayne, the six-cylinder engine felt sluggish and underwhelming. The six-cylinder Biscayne struggled with acceleration, especially when fully loaded with passengers or cargo. Drivers expecting a smooth and responsive ride were often disappointed by the lack of power. Even though the engine was reliable, its performance left much to be desired, especially for those used to the more spirited drives of other sedans. Despite its lack of power, the Biscayne did offer decent fuel economy for a full-size car. However, its fuel efficiency couldn't compensate for the overall lack of performance. The engine was built for economy, but it wasn't particularly enjoyable to drive. The Biscayne's suspension was designed for comfort, but didn't offer much in the way of handling refinement. The car was adequate for everyday driving, but didn't stand out in terms of driving dynamics. To keep costs low, the 1966 Biscayne was built with lower-grade materials compared to other Chevrolets in the lineup. The result was a car that felt solid but lacked the finesse and durability of higher-end models like the Impala. Like many cars from this era, the Biscayne had a tendency to develop rust, especially in the wheel wells, around the trunk, and under the doors. Buyers in rust-prone areas often found themselves dealing with premature body deterioration, which added to the cost of ownership. The interior materials, while functional, were not built to last. Vinyl upholstery could crack and fade over time, and the dashboard and trim would often show wear and tear much earlier than more premium models. As the lowest-priced full-size sedan in the Chevrolet lineup, the Biscayne was affordable, but at the expense of features and performance. While it was marketed as a practical choice for those on a budget, it didn't offer the excitement or comfort that many buyers were looking for in a car of this size. While the Biscayne was inexpensive, it couldn't compete with the more popular Chevrolet Impala or the Chevy Bel Air, which offered better engines, more features, and a more refined design. Even within its own brand, the Biscayne was overshadowed by models that offered better value for only a slightly higher price. The 1966 Chevrolet Biscayne was a no-frills, functional car that did its job for buyers who needed basic transportation. However, it was rarely celebrated for its design or performance, and its legacy is largely one of mediocrity. Unlike other models from Chevrolet's 1960s lineup, the Biscayne doesn't have a significant following among classic car collectors. Its plain design, underpowered engine, and lack of exciting features make it a forgotten relic of an era when practicality often came at the cost of style and performance. While affordable, the Biscayne failed to capture the hearts of many buyers, especially those looking for a car that offered more than just the basics. It wasn't a car that people remembered fondly or aspired to own, making it a footnote in the history of full-size Chevrolets. The 1966 Chevrolet Biscayne six-cylinder was a practical, no-frills car for budget-conscious buyers. However, its underpowered engine, uninspiring design, and lack of features made it unremarkable in the full-size sedan market. Number 3. 1968 Plymouth Fury. The 1968 Plymouth Fury I was the most economical trim in the Fury lineup, designed to offer basic transportation at an affordable price, while it had the core traits of the larger Fury family sedans. The Fury I lacked the refinement and power of its higher-end variants. The result was a car that felt outdated compared to its rivals, with a basic design, underpowered engine, and subpar build quality that limited its appeal. By 1968, the Fury's design was starting to feel outdated. While the Fury line was known for its full-size presence, the base Fury model had a boxy, utilitarian shape that lacked the elegance or flair of other mid-century sedans. Its design didn't feel modern compared to competitors from Ford, Chevrolet, or Dodge, making it a less attractive option in the full-size sedan market. The Fury I's exterior design was functional, but bare bones with few chrome accents or distinguishing features. It was designed to be affordable, so it didn't feature the bold styling or trim that other more premium models, like the Fury III, offered. This made the base trim look plain and less exciting. Inside, the Fury I had a stripped-down cabin with vinyl seating, simple controls, and minimal convenience features. While practical, the interior was rudimentary and felt cheap compared to the more luxurious models in the Fury lineup. The base trim didn't come with amenities like power windows, power seats, or premium upholstery, all of which were available on higher trims. The interior was designed to serve basic needs, offering little comfort or flair, which contributed to its unappealing nature for many buyers looking for a more refined experience. The Fury I came with a basic 318 cubic inch V8 engine, which, while decent for its time, was underpowered for a full-size sedan. With just 230 horsepower, the car struggled with acceleration and could feel sluggish, especially when fully loaded with passengers or cargo. It was far less powerful compared to rivals with more potent engine options, such as those from Ford and Chevrolet. The 318 V8 in the Fury I was reliable but didn't offer much excitement. The lack of power combined with the car's heavy body meant that performance was below average. It could handle everyday driving tasks, but it wasn't a car that was fun to drive or offered smooth acceleration on highways. The 318 V8 wasn't particularly fuel efficient, especially when paired with the large, heavy body of the Fury. It consumed more fuel than many buyers on a budget would have liked, contributing to higher operating costs. While the Fury I provided a comfortable ride, it lacked the precision handling and refined driving dynamics that were available in more premium sedans. Its suspension system was more suited for a smooth highway ride than for maneuvering through tight city streets or corners. The Fury I didn't stand out in terms of driving performance. To keep the price low, Plymouth used cost-cutting measures that affected the build quality of the Fury I. While durable, the materials used for the body and interior weren't as high quality as those found in competing models. This led to premature wear in the interior and occasional reliability issues, especially with the electrical system and trim. Like many cars from this era, the Fury I was prone to rusting, particularly in the wheel wells, undercarriage, and door frames. Buyers in damp or coastal areas often had to deal with the expense of rust repair sooner than expected. The 1968 Plymouth Fury I was priced to be an affordable option for families on a budget, but it lacked the appeal and refinement that buyers might expect in a full-size car. While it was a functional and basic car, it didn't stand out in any particular area, whether in terms of design, performance, or features. The Fury I was up against more refined and feature-rich competitors, including the Ford Galaxy and the Chevrolet Impala. These cars offered more power, better design, and greater attention to detail, making the Fury I seem like a less compelling choice for many buyers. Even within Plymouth's own lineup, models like the Fury III or Fury VIP offered more powerful engines and better features, creating a wide gap in appeal between the different trims. The 1968 Fury didn't leave much of a lasting impression. It was seen as a basic, utilitarian vehicle that served a functional purpose, but didn't offer much in terms of luxury or excitement. Buyers who needed something more dynamic or stylish often chose higher trims or competitors. The Fury I isn't a model that garners much attention from collectors today. Most enthusiasts prefer the more powerful and better equipped Fury III or Fury V IP trims, which offer more appealing features, both in terms of performance and luxury. The Fury I remains largely a forgotten footnote in the Fury lineup. The 1968 Plymouth Fury I was a basic, utilitarian sedan designed to meet the needs of budget-conscious buyers. Number 2, 1969. AMC Rebel. The 1969 AMC Rebel in its base model trim struggled to compete in a market full of more exciting and refined competitors. While the Rebel name had potential for a fun, sporty image, the base model was underwhelming with its basic features, uninspiring performance, and lackluster styling. Positioned as an affordable mid-size sedan, the 1969 Rebel was often criticized for its poor handling, noisy engine, and overall lack of refinement. The 1969 Rebel's design was functional, but lacked personality. Its boxy, conservative shape was typical of mid-size cars of the era, but it didn't stand out. Compared to the more stylish Ford Torino or Chevrolet Chevelle, the Rebel's exterior felt outdated and overly plain. With basic trim and no standout features, the base Rebel had a utility-first design. While some higher trims offered more chrome and distinctive touches, the base model lacked any real design flair. It didn't offer the sporty appeal of some of AMC's other offerings like the Javelin or AMX. The interior was straightforward, with cheap materials and limited features. While it had the basics, seating, simple controls, and a basic dashboard layout, it didn't offer the comfort or refinement seen in competitors in the same price range. The base Rebel was focused on practicality over luxury, which contributed to a lack of appeal. The lack of comfort features such as air conditioning, power windows, or better interior materials made the Rebel feel outdated compared to rivals that offered more in terms of convenience. The base 1969 Rebel came equipped with a 232 cubic inch inline-six engine, which offered only moderate power, about 145 horsepower. While reliable, it was far from exciting, and many owners complained about its lack of responsiveness and noisy operation, especially at higher speeds. The engine struggled with acceleration and felt sluggish when compared to competitors in the midsize sedan market, many of which offered V8 options as standard or available upgrades. The Rebel's engine felt underpowered for its size, limiting its appeal to buyers seeking a more engaging driving experience. The Rebel's handling was also a significant point of criticism. Its suspension system, while designed to be functional for everyday driving, was ill-equipped to deliver the smooth and responsive ride that many buyers expected. The base Rebel was prone to body roll and lacked the nimbleness of its rivals, making it a less enjoyable vehicle to drive. While the 232 inline-six was relatively efficient compared to V8s, the Rebel's poor driving dynamics and heavy body meant that fuel efficiency wasn't enough to make up for its lackluster performance. The 1969 Rebel was built with cost-cutting measures in mind. Interior materials were low quality, leading to faster wear and tear. Many owners complained about rust issues and how the body didn't hold up well over time, especially in areas prone to harsh weather. Although AMC cars were generally known for being durable, the base Rebel experienced reliability problems, particularly with the engine and suspension. Frequent repairs were necessary, which could be a burden for owners looking for a reliable, low-maintenance vehicle. In a market full of more exciting midsize cars, the Rebel was often overshadowed by Chevrolet Chevelle, Ford Torino, and Dodge Dart. These cars offered more powerful engines, better handling, and more attractive designs, making the base Rebel seem plain and uninspiring by comparison. Many of the competitors in the same class offered performance packages, more powerful engine options, and sportier designs. AMC did not offer an immediate alternative in the Rebel lineup, making the base model less attractive to buyers who wanted more than just basic transportation. While the Rebel name has a place in AMC's history, the base model was largely forgettable. Its lack of appeal meant it didn't gain much of a following either among enthusiasts or collectors. The more sporty and powerful models like the AMX or Javelin garnered more attention for their performance, leaving the Rebel with a bland reputation. Today, the 1969 Rebel, especially in its base trim, doesn't attract much attention from collectors. The more exciting models of AMC's lineup, especially those from the performance-driven muscle car era, are more sought after, leaving the base Rebel to be remembered as an affordable but underwhelming option. The 1969 AMC Rebel base model was a basic no-frills sedan that offered little in terms of excitement, style, or performance. While it served the purpose of providing affordable transportation, it suffered from underwhelming engine performance, poor handling, and uninspiring design that left it overshadowed by competitors. The base Rebel lacked the refinement and features that buyers were increasingly seeking in mid-size sedans, making it a forgettable option for many in the market during its era. Number 1964, Mercury Monterey. The 1964 Mercury Monterey in its base trim was a full-sized car that struggled to keep up with the evolving automotive landscape. While Mercury aimed for luxury and comfort, the base Monterey fell short in both performance and design, leaving it outdated compared to rivals. Its large, heavy frame wasn't supported by sufficient power, resulting in sluggish acceleration and poor fuel efficiency. The 1964 Monterey's exterior was characterized by its large, boxy shape, which, while representative of the 1960s full-size car trend, was starting to look dated by the time it hit showrooms. The car's styling lacked the modernity and bold design elements that made competitors like the Chevrolet Impala or Ford Galaxy more visually appealing. As a base model, the Monterey featured minimal exterior detailing. Its styling was functional but did not stand out, and the chrome elements were kept to a minimum. Compared to its more upscale siblings in the Mercury lineup, the base Monterey appeared somewhat plain. The interior of the base Monterey wasn't much more inspiring than its exterior. While it offered a spacious cabin typical of full-size cars, the interior materials were basic, with minimal luxury features. The seats were not as comfortable as those in higher trim models, and the dashboard was simple, with few modern conveniences or stylish elements to make the driving experience feel special. The base Monterey was equipped with the basics: manual windows, basic upholstery, and simple controls. Features like power steering, air conditioning, or higher quality trim were either optional or not offered at all on the base model, making it feel outdated compared to its competitors. The base 1964 Monterey came equipped with a 390 cubic inch V8 engine, producing about 250 horsepower. While this was a decent-size engine for the time, it wasn't enough to complement the Monterey's large frame, resulting in sluggish acceleration and poor overall performance. The engine was underpowered for a car of its size and weight, which made it less responsive than smaller, more nimble competitors. The 390 V8 didn't offer the power-to-weight ratio that drivers expected from a car of its size. Acceleration was slow, and the car felt heavy and cumbersome, especially when passing or merging on highways. The Monterey's sluggish performance made it less appealing for those seeking a more lively driving experience. Given the Monterey's size and the relatively inefficient V8 engine, fuel economy was another weak point. While full-size cars of the era were not known for their efficiency, the base Monterey's fuel consumption was particularly poor, making it an expensive option for daily driving, especially with rising fuel prices. The Monterey's large frame and heavy weight resulted in poor handling. It didn't handle as crisply or nimbly as some of its competitors, and its suspension, while designed for comfort, couldn't mask the sluggishness of the overall vehicle. While designed to be a comfortable cruiser, the Monterey's ride was not as smooth as many expected from a luxury car. The large size contributed to body roll and uneven handling around curves, making it less refined than smaller, more agile sedans of the time. Like many cars of the era, the Monterey suffered from rust problems, particularly in areas prone to moisture or salt. The Monterey's body was prone to corrosion, particularly in the lower panels and around the wheel wells. This added to maintenance costs and contributed to the car's long-term durability issues. While the Monterey was generally built well, its mechanical issues and large size made repairs more expensive compared to smaller cars. The 390 V8 engine required attention, and parts for the vehicle were more costly due to its large displacement and lower availability compared to more common 380 V8 engines models. By 1964, full-size cars like the Chevrolet Impala and Ford Galaxy were getting more modern and appealing with sleek designs, more powerful engines, and better features. The Monterey, by comparison, appeared old-fashioned and struggled to attract younger buyers or anyone looking for a more dynamic driving experience. The base Monterey's lackluster performance, dated styling, and poor fuel efficiency made it a less appealing option for buyers in the mid-1960s. While it did offer comfort and size, it didn't excel in any particular area, and its larger size wasn't compensated by enough power or refinement to make it competitive in a rapidly evolving market. The 1964 Mercury Monterey base trim was a large full-size car that failed to meet the expectations of its time. While it offered a comfortable ride and spacious interior, its outdated styling, underpowered engine, and poor fuel efficiency made it less appealing than more modern and refined competitors. The Monterey's sluggish performance and lack of standout features placed it behind rivals like the Chevrolet Impala and Ford Galaxy,